The Risk Thursday arrived like a verdict Maya had been waiting for. Inevitable, terrifying, and somehow exactly what she'd chosen. She left the office at 7:15, which was early by Hartwell Cross standards, but still meant she'd billed 11 hours. The Castellano case was consuming her days now, the brother's deposition looming on Tuesday like a deadline she couldn't afford to miss. But tonight wasn't about Marcus Castellano or his suspicious cash deposits or making partner. Tonight was about Cameron Pierce and the choice she'd made when she saved his contact instead of deleting it. Maya went home first, to her West Village apartment with its view of nothing particularly impressive, but rent that still made her wince every month. She showered quickly, washing away the day's tension and the faint smell of recycled office air. Standing in her towel, she stared at her closet like it held answers instead of clothes. What did you wear to dinner with a man who'd already seen you naked? Who'd made you come twice in a hotel room before you knew his name? Who was now your colleague and potentially your career suicide? She settled on black jeans, AG, dark enough to pass for dressy, and a silk camisole in deep emerald that Jordan had convinced her to buy last year. For when you need to feel like yourself but sexier, Jordan had said. Maya layered a fitted black blazer over it, professional enough to maintain some boundary, revealing enough to admit what they both knew was happening. Her phone buzzed at 7:40. Headed to the restaurant now. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. Maya's stomach did something complicated. She touched up her lipstick, a darker shade than she wore to the office, more wine than nude, and called a car. The restaurant was in Carroll Gardens, tucked on a quiet residential block that tourists never found. Cameron had chosen well. Far enough from Midtown that they wouldn't run into anyone from the firm. Small enough that it felt intimate. Nice enough that it signaled this wasn't just about sex, though they both knew sex was definitely part of the equation. Maya arrived at 8:03. Cameron was already there, standing outside the restaurant's blue-painted door, hands in his pockets. He wore dark jeans and a charcoal Henley under a leather jacket, the first time she'd seen him in anything but a suit. He looked younger somehow, more like the man who'd bought her a drink on Sunday night, and less like the partner who could make or break her career. "Hey," he said, and his smile was cautious, hopeful. "Hey." Maya's voice came out steadier than she felt. "You found it okay?" "Brooklyn's not that mysterious," says the woman who lives in the West Village. His eyes moved over her, quick but thorough. "You look beautiful. You look different," Maya said, without the suit. "Good different or bad different? Different, different." She paused. "Good." His smile widened slightly. "Come on, I got us a table in the back." The restaurant was small and warm, with exposed brick walls and candles on every table. The kind of place where people came for anniversaries or first dates that actually mattered. The hostess, a woman in her 50s with a thick Italian accent, greeted Cameron by name and led them to a corner table that was somehow both visible and private. "You come here often?" Maya asked as they sat. "A few times. It's run by a family from Naples. The grandmother makes the pasta by hand every morning." He poured water from the carafe on their table. "I figured we needed somewhere we could actually talk without worrying about who might walk in." Thoughtful. "I have my moments." A server appeared, young, enthusiastic, clearly charmed by Cameron, and rattled off specials. Maya ordered a glass of Barolo. Cameron ordered the same. When the server left, silence settled between them. Not quite comfortable, but not hostile either. "So," Cameron said finally, "here we are." "Here we are," Maya echoed. "You want to start, or should I?" Maya took a breath. "Why did you ask me to dinner, Cameron? Really?" He didn't hesitate. "Because I haven't stopped thinking about you since Sunday night. Because working with you this week has been both the best and worst kind of torture. Because I think there's something here worth exploring, and I don't want to let it go just because the timing is complicated." "Complicated," Maya repeated. "That's one word for it." "What word would you use?" "Career-ending, reckless, against firm policy." "Also accurate." Cameron leaned forward slightly. "But here's the thing, Maya. I'm 42 years old. I've been practicing law for 17 years. I made partner at 35. I've built a career I'm proud of, and I've done it by playing it safe, following the rules, never letting anything personal interfere with anything professional. He paused. And I've been fucking miserable. Maya blinked. That wasn't what she'd expected. I'm not saying I regret my choices, Cameron continued. I'm good at what I do. I like what I do. But somewhere along the way, I forgot there's supposed to be more to life than billable hours and client development and making the partnership more profitable. His eyes locked on hers. And then I met you in a hotel bar. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was actually living instead of just existing. The server returned with their wine. Maya was grateful for the interruption, for the chance to process what Cameron had just said. When they were alone again, she took a long sip of the Barolo. It was excellent, rich and complex and probably expensive. That's a lot of pressure to put on one night, Maya said quietly. I know. I'm not saying you changed my life or any of that dramatic shit. Cameron smiled slightly. I'm just saying you reminded me that I'm allowed to want something for myself. Something that's not about the firm or the clients or the next big case. Maya set down her glass. What are you asking me for, Cameron? A chance, he said simply, to see if what we felt Sunday night is real, to figure out if we can navigate this without destroying both our careers, to not pretend we're just colleagues when we both know there's more here. And if we can't navigate it, Maya challenged, if someone finds out and it blows up in our faces, I'm the one who loses everything. You're a partner. You'll get a slap on the wrist and maybe some awkward conversations. I'll lose my shot at partnership, probably my job, definitely my reputation. You're right, Cameron said, and the acknowledgement surprised her. The stakes are different for you. Higher. That's why I'm not going to push you into anything. This has to be your choice, Maya. Your decision. I just wanted to put it on the table so you know where I stand. Maya studied him across the candlelight. His face was open, honest. No games, no manipulation. Just a man saying what he wanted and letting her decide. Tell me something, she said. If I say no tonight, if I say we keep this strictly professional, will you respect that? Yes. Will you make it weird at work? No. Will you hold it against me when you're evaluating my partnership prospects? Cameron's jaw tightened slightly. I would never do that. Your career advancement should be based on your work, which is exceptional, not on whether you want to sleep with me. Good answer, Maya said. She took another sip of wine. Now tell me what happens if I say yes. Something shifted in Cameron's expression, heat flickering behind the professional control. If you say yes, we figure out how to do this right. Carefully. We don't flaunt it. We don't let it interfere with the Castellano case or any other work we do together. We're discreet as hell, and we see where this goes. That's very rational. I'm a lawyer. Rational is my default setting. Except on Sunday nights in hotel bars. Cameron's smile turned wicked. Except then. The server returned to take their dinner order. Maya chose the pappardelle with wild boar ragu. Cameron ordered the branzino. When they were alone again, the conversation shifted to safer territory. The Castellano case, the brothers' deposition strategy, the financial forensics Hamri Cerebra. Cameron's expert was running. They fell into an easy rhythm, the same intellectual chemistry they'd discovered in the conference room. Maya found herself relaxing slightly, enjoying the way Cameron challenged her thinking, built on her ideas, treated her like an equal rather than a subordinate. By the time their entrees arrived, Maya had almost forgotten why she'd been so nervous. Almost. Can I ask you something personal? Cameron said as he cut into his fish. Depends on the question. Why me? Sunday night, I mean. You could have had anyone in that bar. Why did you say yes when I bought you a drink? Maya twirled pasta around her fork, considering. Honestly, because you looked like you needed to forget something too. Cameron's hand stilled. What made you think that? The way you were sitting at the bar, alone, expensive scotch, staring at nothing. You had this look like you were trying to decide something important. She met his eyes. I recognized it because I've worn that look 1,000 times. What were you trying to forget that night? Maya hesitated. This was dangerous territory, real honesty instead of carefully managed disclosure. But something about the low light and the wine and the fact that they were already breaking every rule made her want to tell the truth. That I've spent 6 years building a career that's supposed to make me happy, and I'm not sure it does anymore, she said quietly. That I'm so focused on making partner that I've forgotten what I actually want beyond that. That I'm 28 years old and I can't remember the last time I did something just because I wanted to, not because it was strategic or smart or good for my career. Cameron set down his fork, and sleeping with a stranger in a hotel room was the first unstrategic thing I'd done in years. Maya smiled slightly. Turned out to be pretty strategic after all, given that the stranger is now my colleague. Worst luck ever. Or best. Depends on how you look at it. They finished dinner slowly, the conversation flowing between professional and personal, serious and flirtatious. Cameron told her about growing up in Boston, the son of a cop and a teacher, the first in his family to go to college. Maya talked about her parents in Chicago, her father a doctor, her mother a professor, and the pressure of being the youngest child, the one who was supposed to exceed already impossible standards. By the time dessert arrived, tiramisu they agreed to share, Maya realized she was enjoying herself. Not just the attraction, though that was definitely present, humming beneath every word and glance, but the actual conversation. The sense of being seen by someone who understood the world she inhabited. I should probably get going, Maya said finally, checking her phone. It was nearly 10:30. I have the Castellano brothers' deposition prep tomorrow morning at 8. Right, the deposition. Cameron signaled for the check. I'll get this. We can split it. Maya, let me buy you dinner. She relented, watching him slide his card into the leather folder without looking at the total. Outside, the Brooklyn street was quiet, just a few couples walking past, a distant siren somewhere in the direction of the BQE. Can I get you a car? Cameron asked. I'll grab one. Maya pulled out her phone, then hesitated. Cameron? Yeah? Thank you for tonight. For being honest about what you want, for giving me a choice. He stepped closer, and Maya's breath caught. They were standing on a quiet Brooklyn street corner, far from the firm, far from anyone who knew them. The October air was cool against her skin. Cameron reached up slowly, giving her time to pull away, and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I meant what I said earlier, he murmured. This is your decision. I'm not going to push. But Maya, his thumb brushed her cheekbone, featherlight. I really hope you say yes. Maya's heart was pounding so hard she was sure he could hear it. She should step back, should create distance, should remember all the reasons this was a terrible idea. Instead, she leaned into his touch, just slightly. I'm still thinking, she whispered. Take your time. But his eyes said something different. Said he knew exactly what her body was telling him right now, the way she'd angled toward him, the way her lips had parted slightly. Her phone buzzed with a car notification, 1 minute away. That's me, Maya said, not moving. Maya? Yeah? Cameron's hand slid from her face to the nape of her neck, warm and possessive. When you decide, and I think you've already decided, you're just not ready to admit it yet. I want you to know something. What? He leaned down until his mouth was next to her ear, his breath warm against her skin. I'm going to make sure you never regret it. Then he stepped back, hands in his pockets, expression carefully neutral as a black sedan pulled up to the curb. Maya got in the car on shaking legs, not trusting herself to speak. As the driver pulled away, she looked back once. Cameron was still standing there, watching her leave, his face illuminated by the streetlight. Her phone buzzed before they'd gone 2 blocks. I know you're still thinking, but for what it's worth, I stopped thinking about 3 hours ago. This is already worth the risk. Maya stared at the message as Brooklyn blurred past her window. She should text back something professional, something that maintained boundaries. Should remind him they hadn't decided anything yet. Instead, she typed, what if I say yes and we crash and burn? What if this destroys everything I've worked for? His response came immediately. What if you say no and spend the rest of your career wondering what might have been? Maya closed her eyes, leaning her head against the cool window. He was right. That was the worst part. He was absolutely right. She could walk away, could protect her career, could play it safe, but she'd spend every day working alongside him, remembering Sunday night, wondering what if. Some risks you couldn't walk away from even when you knew you should. Her fingers moved across the screen before she could overthink it. My place. Tomorrow night. 8 p.m. Don't make me regret this. She hit send before she could change her mind. The 3 dots appeared immediately then. I won't. I promise you, Maya, I won't. See you tomorrow at the office. Try to get some sleep. Maya laughed softly, a sound somewhere between exhilaration and terror. Sleep, right. As if she'd sleep tonight knowing what she'd just agreed to. As the car crossed back into Manhattan, Maya watched the city lights blur past and wondered if this was what bravery felt like, or just a different kind of self-destruction. Either way, she'd made her choice. Tomorrow night, Cameron Pierce would come to her apartment, and they'd cross a line they couldn't uncross. And maybe, just maybe, it would be worth everything it cost.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.